So I'll get started. It's already 6 o'clock in the East Coast in New Jersey. And welcome everyone to our Generative AI in Enterprise episode 8. And topic of the day is LLM evaluation. And it is part 2 of the discussion actually. We actually had a discussion around LLM evaluation a few weeks back. I'll share the link of the YouTube, video so that you can, take a look at it if you're interested. But that's where we kind of like discussed the basics of LLM and LLM evaluation. In this particular meetup, we are going to dive deep and we are going to use, see some demos using evaluation frameworks, tools like Langsmith, Ragas, and uh, and I'm not going to do any of them. And our guest speaker, Luca Pierpaoli, did I pronounce it correctly?
Yeah,
Pierpaoli.
it's correct. Pure
Okay,
power. Yeah,
so
it's correct.
Luca Pierpaoli, so is our guest speaker today, and the interesting reason why we have shifted our meetup today from 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock is Luca is actually from Italy. So Luca is joining us from Italy and it's at 12 o'clock in midnight. Luca, thank you so much,
Yeah,
for taking the time out for all of us in New Jersey and giving us the opportunity to hear from you and share, listen to your experiences. Really, really appreciate that. It's midnight in Italy right now. So being said that, I'll quickly do some groundwork. So this is our agenda today. We'll do a quick introduction, like a round table, and we'll do some disclaimer, housekeeping, participant introduction, and we'll go to the topic of the day, and then we'll open it up for any questions. This is how you can connect with Luca or myself through LinkedIn. The video will be recorded and I'll post this video in my YouTube channel called Curious Circuits. Disclaimer is none of this is sponsored or set up by my employer. So this is like my own personal interest why I'm running this meetup to learn and share with others. Housekeeping, microphone is optional. Sorry, microphone, keep your microphone on mute if you're not talking, basic stuff. Camera is optional, but we would like to see you. So feel free to, turn on your camera. And you can also use the raise hand feature, chat function, etc. of Zoom. We are aiming to wrap up in 40 minutes. Now I'll hand it over to Luca for starting the conversation. But before that, let me introduce Luca. So Luca is an seasoned, experienced IT professional with over 23 years of experience in this industry. Luca, you have worked in large companies, big companies, and also in startups. You love, what knowledge with us. So over to you, Luca, for LLM evaluation with Langsmith. Go ahead. I need to turn back your microphone. So
thank you, everyone, and thank you for the invitation because it's a great pleasure for me being here, especially because I love all the word about the communities. And when I had the chance to speak with community outside my standard network, it's always even for me it's a great pleasure because I have the opportunity to learn more even from different experiences. So it's a big opportunity, and I'm very thrilled about that. I don't know how to do that. Uja, I can share my screen.
you should be able to share your screen. Can you check that out?
Okay, let me share. No. Okay. Let me know if you see my screen right now.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Just to understand the latency of of the network, I put in full screen. Now you can see full screen.
Yeah, I
Okay, got
can.
it. Okay, perfect. So let's start with the main topic. It's about how to debug and evaluate the LLM and especially RAG. The idea is that I prepare a few slides just to give the context, but the main presentation will be done showing hands-on on the notebook and the LangMint web interface. So it's something that we can see together and testing in real time what's happening behind the scene. And just a little, a little topic that everything that we will see, it's based on my experience with projects that I've been working with. But as you know, in this kind of field that is super fast every day, let's say what we see today, maybe tomorrow will be another story because it's super fast. So let's start with the presentation. I move my head on the right because I have the big screen on the right. So
Okay, that's okay. Yeah, got it.
okay, let's start with LangMint because the main topic is about using. Oh, sorry, because I have this one that I don't want. Okay. The main topic is about LangMint. What is LangMint? LangMint is a part of the LangChain framework. Maybe a lot of you know what is, and especially it's related to the observability topic because it's on top of all the LangChain framework. So based on different kind of components, you have the LangMint part that is specifically for the observability. Observability is a big topic. What we will see today is the specific part of LangSmith that are the evaluation, the testing, and the debugging. Because we have a lot of, we have other stuff that LangSmith is able to manage related to the monitoring, the feedback, the annotation. Maybe we will see in an overview about that, but in detail, we will see the evaluation, the testing, and the bug part. So why this is important part? Because you can find this information on internet, but I got this information from the official LangSmith web page. And why we want to evaluate our LLMs, our RAG, our chain that we want to build. The main reasons are, especially the first one is not deterministic output. So because, as you know, the LLMs are not deterministic. So if you ask to LM to do something, maybe the same phrase, the same question, even if you use the famous parameter called temperature and you set the temperature to 0, maybe you have different kind of results. And this is one of the reasons that we need to evaluate our LLM. The second one is the security. The security is simple because we have to be careful about let's say the most famous one is the prompt injection. The prompt injection is when someone puts something that we don't want, or maybe is able to override the prompt engineering that we have created. So we have to take care about that. The latency, because obviously we need to maximum, we need, how to say, we need to be super fast, let's say. API opacity, because as you know, models behind the APIs change over time. So we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. So new releases, maybe these can be applied mainly on, let's say, closed LLMs, maybe on the open source is a little bit different, but behind the scene, we have to understand when something changes. The bias meaning that sometimes LLMs encode biases that can create negative experiences. So we have to treat on that. And the last one, but I think that one of the most important one is about the cost. We have to manage and understand how much money we are spending during the execution. And we are lucky because starting from 3 or 4 days ago, on LangSmith, they have added the cost in the standard information on the platform. So we will see in live experience. So this is an example of the part that we will see in deep on the LangSmith website. Mainly, we will see the projects that are used for tracing and for debugging the LLM or the RAG or the chain that you want to execute. And at the same time, the data set and testing is about the data set and testing. So the word explains the topic itself. So before starting, just to be on the same page, I want to share a dictionary that we will see during the presentation. There are 4 important words: projects that are used for understanding the trace, and let's say the debugging part. Data set that are collections of examples for the evaluators, used by the evaluators. And the test part is, let's say, when we run the data set for comparing the data set with the result of the execution of the LLM. And the last one are the evaluators. So the evaluator, what is an evaluator? Is a program, is an execution that decide how good it is using certain rules or standard based on the data set that we have, that we want to use. So first thing on evaluation. So I move my screen on the code. So before starting, I want to say that I will share a GitHub repo that I will share at the end of the presentation. I will share the GitHub repo where you can find it's the repo that you see on my screen. So we have the community folder specifically for the information that we will see in this presentation. But I will share also my public repo where you can find, let's say, it's a report that every experiment I do when I find something interesting to try or to experiment, I publish on this repo. So feel free to use it, and especially to send a pull request if you want to improve and write better code than me. So let's start with this one. I increase the font. So just an information. I don't want to go in the details of the implementation. I want to explain the main concept, and then you are feel free to use the notebook because the specific code is how to say, it's something that you can find in the documentation of the LangChain and LangChain. The most important part, I think, that is to understand how the evaluation works in terms of execution. I mean, and I think even in terms of the concept of how to evaluate an LLM or a RAG. So starting with, I start with setting my environment. Okay, I prepare, first one, you have to prepare, let's say, I call it assets, but these assets will become our data set, basically. So 2 important information: questions and data set output. So questions are the questions that I want to test using the LLM, and the dataset output is something that I want to compare with the result that the LLM will answer to us. This is a particular one because I want to share different kind of, let's say, situation, let's say different kind of scenarios. The first one is a simple response based on the simple question. So, what's the name of the actor who played Neo in Matrix? The second one is a wrong one. So we can see how we can understand if the LLM answered in a wrong way. And the third one is, let's say, a particular scenario, because the question is open for the LLM, because we are asking to the name of the Beatles singer, and then we asking for one of the other members, but we don't know which kind of member the LLM will decide to answer to us. So the idea is that the first one is must mention, because we are sure that John Lennon was the Beatles singer, but we don't know which one will be provided by the LLM in terms of other member. So it could be Paul McCartney, George Harrison, or Ringo Starr. And we will see better why I added this during the execution. And just let's start with the asset, create the client. The client is about the...
Just making sure you are sharing something. We are seeing the PowerPoint.
Sorry?
We are seeing the PowerPoint. If you are sharing some other screen, we are not able to see it.
Really? Oh my gosh. I was thinking that I was sharing the code.
Yeah,
Why?
that's what I thought.
Oh, let me check.
I can see your PowerPoint, and
Okay,
the
but
picture says first hands-on evaluations.
okay, let me change this one. Okay. Now?
Yeah, now it's better. Yep.
Okay, cool. So what I said before is based on the asset that you see right now. Is it correct? Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see assets.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So that's the questions, that these are the questions and these are the dataset output. And as I mentioned before, as you can see, I have the first question, simple question, the second one, error, and the third one is an open question. So must mention, which is the Beatles singer, and open question, because the second part of the question, we don't know which one the LLM will choose to answer to us. And I use the is optional for understanding, for let's say, provide different kind of information. We will see later during the execution why I use this kind of approach. I created the client. The client is just let's say a component to connect with Langschmidt platform using code and not using the web site. And I create the dataset. So creating the dataset meaning that I put these assets into Langschmidt. So I click on that, and I have to change a little bit, or maybe it's better to, because I have to change every time the share, the part I have to share, but let's say doing in this way. I will complete the, okay. I will complete the, do you see the code? Okay. I will complete the notebook and I will move on the web part, so we can follow the logic, and then we can see what's happening behind the scene. So I created the dataset, and what I have to do is using a model for obviously for running the evaluation, and I want to say that I'm using my personal Azure account, where I have only the 3.5 Turbo, Azure OpenAI 3.5 Turbo, and because it's my personal one, I don't have the access to the 4.0 till now. But let's say that everyone suggests to use OpenAI 4, version 4, because it's better in terms of the evaluation. But it's not important for our demo, because it's just to provide the let's say a demo of how it works. It's not related the specific evaluation. But if you want to use best practice is to use the model 4 instead of 3.5 Turbo. So I set my Azure chat OpenAI, and let's see the first evaluation. First evaluation, this is standard code provided by LangSmith. That means that you have to use this kind of run evaluate config, eval config, where you have to set, in this case, I set my model, and you can set all the evaluators that you want, based on the evaluators that provided by LangChain, because behind the scene, even if you are using run eval config, which is a part of Schmidt package of LangChain, behind the scene, if you go inside the code, you will see that behind the scene, we are using the the LangChain evaluators. And this is one of them. You can see all of the criteria used for, let's say, all the criteria that you can use for evaluating a model. This is the list of the criteria. I decided to use the helpfulness, which is one of them. And when I created the configuration, the device configuration, I can run the device configuration on the dataset that I have created before. So I run this, and then I move on LangSmith to see what happened. So as you can see, this is the run, the result of the run. It's okay having this kind of information on the notebook, but it's better to take a look to the website. So I move to the website. I think this one. Okay, let me know if you see LangSmith web platform.
Yeah.
Okay, so first thing first, we are here in the dataset and testing capability, where we have created a simple evaluation, and inside the simple evaluation, you can see our dataset that will be on the examples tab, and these are all the let's say the example that we have uploaded. I can open them, and I can see my question, and I can see my output. This output is called reference output. So it means that based on the evaluation, I got the question, and then I compare the question with the reference output, also called ground truth, to understand what are my expectations of this question. And I have run the evaluation. So I use this example to run the evaluation, and under tests, you can see our first test. And as I said before, they added the total cost based on the model that I've been using. And if I click here, I can see the result of my evaluation, because I have the input question, the reference output, and the helpfulness evaluators that I used before. What happened behind the scene? The evaluators said, okay, I run this question. I run this question with my LLM. I get back this result, I compared this result with the must mention reference output that I set, and the result of my evaluation, I can see it in this, let's say, tag, and it's zero because the founder house is Jeff Bezos, but I forced to say, let's say, a lie, to lie, giving this fake response.
Mhm.
And the LLM understand that based on that, the helpfulness of this result is not good. But if I compare with this one, I can see that the name of the Beatles is singer is John Lennon, and one of the other members is Paul McCartney. Helpfulness, one. Determinate criteria because it compared this. We will see what's happening behind the scene in another tab. And the last one is the same because helpfulness is one. And as you can see, every time I move my mouse on the evaluation, it provides more information about what's happening behind the scene. And we will see better in the next evaluation because every time you run an evaluation, an evaluator, LaunchMe provides a specific project by design. It's provided by design. Maybe I didn't find a way to change the name, but inside you have every test, every evaluation that you have did running the specific test. That's the sample one, so the sample scenario where you want to test something. But I want to add more because I move on the notebook. I ask if you see the notebook just for sure to be sure that you see the notebook again.
Yeah, I can
Okay,
see the
good.
notebook.
So this is a little bit different kind of evaluator. We have seen, let me clear the output. We have seen that this is let's say, the simple one. Now we can see something like a little bit tricky because we use custom evaluators. And I think that this part is super cool because you can create what you want to check your LLM or RAG in the better way that you need. So basically, using this kind, and this is the simple one. We will see more complex one later, but maybe basically, if you add this run evaluator tag, you can define a specific function in Python where you, as you can see, you can check the documentation for understanding better what's happening, but I give you an overview. The idea is that I underline the part. So what I do here is that based on my data set, check that the must mention is correct, and I check the must mention in a programmatic way that sometimes is very useful because as we see later in the RAG part, no, even in this one, I created an example. When we want to check specific criteria or more complex criteria, basically we are using how to say, we will use the LLM itself, and that means that we have to spend money for testing the criteria. In this way, where I found this kind of approach, it's not always possible. I want to say that it's not always possible, but when it is possible, I think is a good way to save money for evaluating an LLM, a RAG, or a standard chain, because in this way, we don't use the LLM, but we use standard code. And the idea, the example that I used for sharing this kind of approach is that when I have the must mention, I check that all the prediction that I receive from the execution of the LLM will be compared with the must mention dataset in the programmatic way using the all function provided by Python, let's say. In the is optional, I use the any because think about the situation where you have the is optional part. I don't want to check all the information that I have inside the dataset, but only one of them must be included in the result. In this way, I can check using the in a programmatic way instead of using again another LLM. And we will see later that when we need to create something more complex and we, let's say, use the LLM spending money, but it depends on your our scenario. But sometimes this is a good approach for saving money. This is the main part of this kind of approach. And what we can do is to use the same relevant config, setting the evaluators as we did before, but adding the custom evaluators. So in this way, when I run this script, the test will use the standard criteria provided by the SDK, but also my custom evaluator that will run this kind of code, getting the example and comparing, creating two different kind of evaluation. One called must mention and one called is optional. But the better way is to run this and see what's happened. So as you can see, it's getting the data and running the evaluation. Now I move on. Where is okay?
Back to your
Okay.
website.
Can you see Langschmidt?
Yeah.
Again, okay. So if I go inside my evaluation, I have the example is this are the same. So same data set, but what I run was this one. And as you can see, we have two new tags called is optional and must mention. And the good part is that is optional one where when the result is compared with the is optional, but when we don't have is optional, we have or -1 or in this case is optional is not provided, so we don't have the result. The important part of is optional was about this kind of example because we have the is optional part, and that's super cool because using the code and I don't know for a specific scenario is a good way to test information to test the result without spending money because these tags are executed by the code. Instead, if you take a look of the coherence is executed using the LLM. So we have spent money. How much we can see in our project under evaluators, the coherence we spent 0.00. It's nothing, but it's better. If we can save money even during the test, it's a good practice, in my opinion.
So this shows how much I saved or how much is the cost?
No, this is how much is the cost provided by what I understood reading the documentation is about the tokens that you have used, but since every time we run a test, Langschmidt gathered all the information about the metadata, and if I go here, I can see the model. And I think that they have the type and the model price, and they multiply by the tokens that we are using. I think something like that because it's
Okay, estimated cost. Maybe
Yeah,
organizations will have some negotiated price also,
yeah,
but it's
yeah.
an estimated cost. Okay.
The good experiment is to use a different kind of model, just trying to use a little bit the same tokens and yeah, and check if the cost is different. But I think it works in this way. So let's move on to another example that I have created. It is super cool because when you start to use the evaluation, basically there is the evaluation, how to say, the evaluation madness, because everything you want to evaluate. So let's move on this kind of evaluation, which is one of my favorite one, because it's very amazing that we can evaluate something using a question, a written question. So the idea is that using this kind of criteria, you can provide the tag called movie. So the tag is what we will see in the LaunchMeet platform. So the movie, and I ask that does it relate to movie topics? Respond yes or no, and I apply this to three different kind of evaluators. And the funny fact is that behind the scene, the evaluation of this question is, let's say, is provided by the LLM itself. So sometimes it's when I see this, I think that I'm thinking about we are at the beginning of everything. I think that it's amazing in terms of coding, in terms of evaluation.
Yeah. There is one request from Neha.
Yeah,
She's
sure.
asking that if you can put the GitHub link in the chat,
Sure.
so
Yeah.
that way, like she can, whoever is interested can walk through the code as well while you give the demo.
You can, let me share. Okay. I got this. Okay. Let me know. Okay. Where is the chat?
Something's not right. Wait a few.
Oh, I can write the message.
Yeah, you should be able to put it in the chat.
Yeah,
And then
let me check because I have this one. Okay. Ah, doesn't copy and paste doesn't work. I mean,
that's fine. I mean, you can share it later.
let me share. I share the link using the QR code. Give me 1 second so you
Okay.
can get with the QR code. Can you see?
Yeah,
Okay. Let's get
you can
the.
take a screenshot of that.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on. Good.
Okay. Super cool. Okay, so I want to go fast with that because we understand how it works, but the idea is that I want to share with you what's happened behind the scene when I create this kind of criteria. So I run this one, tack, and while it's running, I move on the language meet, and let's take a look at what's happened. So first thing first, you can see that we have new columns. Can you see my lunch meat? Is it correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And if I go inside, I can see that. So the idea is that based on different kind of uh, criteria that I decided to use, I was able to create a different kind of evaluation and cooking, movie, and music. And based on that, LLMs understand which kind of topic is the question. was the question. So I want to share with you what's happening behind the scene using the project side, so inside the evaluators, because it's very interesting to take a look about the prompt that LangChain uses behind the scene to evaluate the question that we have used as a criteria. So the good part is that we can see everything about what's happening behind the scene. And based on that, we can create something custom that simulate this, maybe more custom for our scenario or more custom for our RAG. But the good part is that we can understand how, let's say, in this case, LangSmith or LangChain, how they manage this kind of criteria and this kind of evaluation. I think it's pretty cool because for me, for example, for my experience, I grabbed a lot of prompt engineering techniques because sometimes they helped me a lot to cover, for example, issues or specific impediments that I have writing the prompt. I don't know if you have the same experience, but I think it's super cool.
Absolutely. I think it's very, very important to understand what's going on because it's not only my prompt, like LangChain will go ahead and add their own on top of it and kind of like curate a new prompt.
Yeah.
And we have no idea like what's going on behind the scene unless we have something like this.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's an out of topic, but I strongly suggest to take a look about the hub site because the hub site, just a quick look, there are a lot of prompts where you can take a look and understand how they work. So for example, if you want to use the evaluation, you check the evaluation and inside every shared project, you can see the prompt and how to get the prompt using the hub provided by the LangChain
What is this hub? Like, can you tell me more?
Hub is basically LangChain provided a new, let's say, when you write this code, instead of writing your prompt, you are getting the prompt remotely.
Ah, okay.
So that means I think that it's depending on, because there are drawbacks using this kind of approach, but depending on your need, the idea is that if the prompt evolves and become better, you have the latest version of it.
Okay.
But at the same time, from a point of view, the drawback is that sometimes if the prompt change with breaking change, it's very difficult to manage it. But let's say it's a good approach. I think that I'm a super fan of LangChain, so I'm not how to say I'm super fan. So everything they do, I appreciate a lot because they worked super good in a super good manner. I mean, so just an out of topic, but I think it's super useful.
It's absolutely within the topic.
Yeah. And let's move on to the slide because I think that we have completed yes, we have completed. Oh no, there is a new another one that I want to share with you because it's super tricky, even that. This is the another kind of evaluation called level score string. And this is amazing because we are creating a new tag based on, let's say, a score. It's always provided by a prompt, but it's very interesting to see how it works because you can say, okay, give me a score 1 if the answer is completely unrelated, give me score 5, normalize it by 10, and behind the scenes, the LLM works in this way. So it's super tricky, this part.
So basically, you ask a question, it gives an answer, then you run this evaluation,
Yeah,
and then it will compare it with the ground truth and give it a score.
correct,
So
correct.
compare the ground truth, sorry, compare the answer with the
Uh,
ground.
No,
Give
in this, yes, correct, yes, because we have used the reference scheme as mentioned. Yes, correct.
Acha, reference key is mentioned and prediction key is general. What is prediction key? General?
Prediction key is the result of the chain. I move the on LangSmith to share with you what does it mean. Basically, when if I go inside my evaluator, as you can see, the result is as a standard JSON.
Mhm.
And the generation is this one. So I'm saying that I have to take the answer. The LLM has to compare this answer, because the answer of the LLM is this one, with the mass mention. And since the LLM is not able to understand where is the answer if I provide all the JSON, so I got an error if I don't provide the reference, the prediction
Okay,
key.
got it. Prediction key. Okay, got it.
Okay. So this is the reason. So I
You're
say,
kind of like telling him, okay, go
yeah,
to this part of the JSON and this is
correct,
where you find the
correct.
answer.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It makes sense.
Because I think that I don't know. I didn't try. I never tried with using the GPT-4 for this kind of scoring, but I think it provides the same. It throws the same error because it's not able to understand the key to get the information about the answer. I am pretty sure that I got. Let me check. If I don't, can you see my code?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Let me check, but I'm pretty sure that I give an error. Maybe no. It's super cool. It works. No, even without the prediction key, it's okay. So I was sure that I had to use a specific prediction key, but it works. No error, I think. No error. It's okay. So it's optional. So it works fine even without the prediction key.
Mhm. How did you add the data set? So is it like you went to the website of Langsmith and added the data set over there, or you just added it as a file? I mean, I saw like you added a bunch of string
Yep.
or JSON file, right, as a data set. But typically in a project, what would people do? Like they'll add it in the Langsmith website, upload the data set over there, or how is it? And
It
refer it.
depends. This is a good question because I have an example in this one, because the idea is that this is a great question because in a real scenario, in the production scenario, the fact is that basically in my experience, sometimes I use providing the data set at the beginning, because I sometimes I use even in this way something like it's not the properly word, but something like test driver development. So I create the test before implementing. But let's say when I have impediments with a customer or with a RAG that I don't have added the right data set, I move on using the website in this way. I will share with you how, because I created a test specifically for sharing what you said, because it's the standard way, basically based on my experience. But if someone has other approaches, good to know,
Okay.
I think. The idea is that instead of running the test based on the dataset, as you mentioned, Ujjwal, I decided to run the model itself and getting the response of the model, adding the response of the model to my dataset. In this
Okay.
way, when I have a problem or issue with a specific question, I can do in this way. Obviously,
So
depending on,
you're using the large language model to generate the data set and put it in the data set over there,
yeah,
right?
correct, right.
Okay.
So imagine that you have the model. So we have the model that we are using, and I use the model in the base way. So I use the model invoking, sending this kind of question. This kind of question is the model. So the rag, it could be the rag, the chain. In this example, is just the model, just for understanding the concept. And when I run this line of code, what happening behind the scene is that I will share with you. Let me share the Launchmeet. If you can see that I don't have, this is the old one, I don't have a test. I have my project that I call a test. It is misleading, but it's a project where I have the question and the answer. So it's pending because sometimes there are a lot of requests, so sometimes.
No.
Okay, so just a couple of minutes and we will see the result in a better way. But the idea is that because the LLM has already responded to us because we see the result. But in the Langsmith, sometimes there are a little bit bottlenecks, especially when there are a lot of requests, I think. But let me.
That's okay. Just
We
looking
can.
at the time right now, I'm 6:54.
Wow.
It's already 6:54. I just wanted to do a quick time check and see like how much more content you have left.
Okay, we have a lot of stuff.
Okay. So maybe is it okay, Luca? Maybe we'll do another session, like a part
Sure.
3 of this
Why
one,
not?
to
Yes,
kind of
yes.
like close the other part.
Yeah,
The
because the other
content we
part
discussed.
was specific about RAG. I created a RAG, a simple RAG, and another kind of RAG just to compare how to. It's related the question that you did before, because based on the RAG we get the result of the RAG, adding the result of the RAG on the data set and understanding better in a, let's say, a little bit complex chain. I mean.
Yeah, maybe we have to do another
Sure.
part 3 of this discussion. I just want to check with other audience over here. We have Santosh, John, Neha, Sivashankar, Hormoz, and Mike. If you guys have any question, Seema, if you have any question for Luca, please feel free to unmute yourself. I have enabled it. So, and go ahead and ask your questions. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, you should be. Yeah, you can unmute yourself, Neha. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to understand. So I don't have much knowledge about LangChain. I'm just learning about it. I am a senior software developer with no background in AI. So there's one project that I'm trying to solve while learning LangChain. It is basically that uh, I'll ask questions. I'll generate a questionnaire, maybe 20 questions of Python, and ask the user to take that test. And what the score will be, I'll be evaluating that using LangChain and stuff, right? So I think,
Langsmith.
yeah,
We
LangSmith.
are using the Langsmith as the evaluator tool over here, and LangChain is the framework. Yeah, go ahead.
So it would be something related to run eval config.labeled score string. So if I have to put him into some kind of group that is he level 1 or is he level 2, is he level 3? So I'll be using this for that. Am I understanding it correct?
So
Or am I totally off?
I didn't get if you are using or if you want to use.
I'm not using, I'm totally new.
Okay, okay. Yes, yes. So you just to understand if I got the question, you say that if I want to create something that evaluate a response, if I can use evaluators for checking the response based on a score.
Yeah, so
Okay, yeah.
I want to put that person into a level. Is he a level 1 in Python? Is he a level 2 in Python or something of that?
Yeah, you can do that, and basically you don't need to use. So let's say the evaluation itself, the core business of the evaluation based on the code that I investigated behind the scene is provided by LangChain. LangSmith is something that you can see, it's the observability, and it is possible to check what's happening behind the scene in the evaluators. And based on your question, yes, you can do that. I can share this link because this is very chain evaluators because you can evaluators, you can get a lot of information about your scenario using this link. And you can focus on the name is the label scored criteria.
Yeah.
Let me, okay, this one. Let me know if you see the evaluation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got it.
super cool.
That was a
Inside this page, there are a lot of information about different kind of evaluation, even without using LangSmith. So you can do the same stuff even if you want to use the evaluation inside your chain, if I got the question properly.
Yeah.
So basically, I think I mentioned it wrong earlier, right? So you are using LangChain to do the evaluation, and then you are using LangSmith to do the observability of the evaluation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Inside.
Yep. So good.
So
Any
what
other- yeah.
Yeah, so what I understood is, again, that LangSmith is helping us do whatever using LangChain, and we can put things into it and maybe data sets and all, and then we have a hub and all. So this is what.
Yes or no? Just a little. Want to underline a little bit because you can use something custom because LangSmith. I have tried with this kind of scenario because LangSmith provides the SDK to connect with LangSmith.
Yeah.
So if you have custom, something that you want to create from scratch, you can use even without LangChain, but you can use this to connect to LangSmith. So they are interchangeable, but at the same time, you can use both or one of them, depending on your need. I mean.
Yeah. I have one more question. I'm sorry, I'm taking too much time. But this is that there's one more use case that I have in mind that I have to do. So I'll be having, so the user will be replying, right? And I'll be generating some kind of an output in which I'll be having that the person should do this in week 1, the person should do this in week 2, or on day 2 or day 1. Day 1, day 2, day 3. So maybe I'll take the example of Python again. So he has to learn this on day 1, this on day 2, and this on day 3, right? And I want to take this out and put it into my database, normal database, right? So how do I how do I extract this information using all of this from the output?
Okay, let me understand if I got the question. You say that you want to use a chain using an LLM, and the result of this LLM based on, let's say, a specific structure that you have decided.
Yeah.
You want to put this information inside a database, a standard database.
Yeah, I want to extract this information. So for example, the day 1 is tomorrow on maybe 10th of Feb. So 10th Feb, the person has to do this. 11th Feb, the person has to do this.
Ah, okay, got it. Oh, it's interesting.
And I want to basically set up a notification system on this. So I want to
got it.
extract the data, put it somewhere, and then have my notifications on that. So this is my
Yeah.
Doesn't mean, going beyond the LLM evaluation discussion. It's more of like an integration and how to set up a notification system. Yeah.
so my question is mainly that how do I extract this? How
The-
do I extract this using this LangChain and LangSmith?
Yes,
So
but
you have
the
must
extracting-
mention and must mention and all of this, right?
I got it, but no, it's not related this kind. Yeah, you have to, as usual said before, it's something related to integration, but it's outside the topic of the evaluation. So you have to use a different kind of approach for producing that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean,
You're
yeah,
welcome.
we can connect if you need. I mean, you can always connect with Luca, or you can also ping me, and we can have a discussion if you need more.
Okay. Thank you.
So we are at time. I do not know if anyone else has any other question, or maybe like we can take one question. Santosh. Okay, so Santosh, I'll let you ask question 1 second. You should be able to unmute yourself, Santosh. Santosh, you should be able to unmute yourself. Can you try? Oh, not able to? 1 second. Okay. Allow participants to unmute themselves. It's on. Just to unmute. How do I unmute you, Santosh? I don't know. It doesn't give me any option to unmute people. That's weird. Can you try one more time, Santosh? Nope, not working. Yeah, please. I mean, feel free to like put your question in LinkedIn, and we'll try to answer that. So we'll wrap it up 7:04, and I'll see like if you can set up another session with Luca, maybe like few weeks down. And if you have more questions around like LLM evaluation, please, collect your questions together until we get time from Luca one more time. Thank you so much, everyone, for participation. Great discussion, Luca, and have a
Thank
good.
you, thank you.
Very, very late. So once again, thank you so much. Take care.
My pleasure. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.